That's a good one. Yeah, I think we need to have more accessible and more broken superheroes don't have such amazing superpowers. I think the hero's journey is universal to all of us, and someone aspiring to be better than what their life circumstances are is just very universal, and the power is within, which is really, I know it's very, it's very relevant here. And so, yeah, I just think we should be doing more accessible superhero stories and just bringing it back down to what normal people can relate to.
Which is probably why this story is resonating with so many people. You know, Robbie does on stage seem like a superhero, but really he's a human being who's got just as much anxiety and bouts of depression and insecurity as the rest of us, and that's really what we relate to.
Yeah, and he's he would say this himself. He wasn't the most extraordinary musical genius. You know, he's not Freddie Mercury from Queen, who's this amazing powerhouse singer. He was a guy that's an entertainer and that loved to entertain, yet found that very challenging with his anxiety. And so that was what was good about this. It was a different form of the musical biopic that isn't about a musical genius. It's about someone that grew up and his story influenced his music, and in some ways he never thought he was as good as how everyone thought he was. He saw himself as way less, thus the monkey.
Hello everybody, this Better Man, we thank for having the film as the opening film for IFFI of the year, and thank the selection committee for this film, and it was really marvelous film. And is this film based on a real story of the?
Yes, very much. It's very much based on.
And I should thank you. We had a couple of years back a Spanish movie as opening film. Their music and dance was there, but not up to this part. Better Man touches the dance and music more near to the Indian dance and music, and we congratulate the cameraman, the choreographer, the way they shot the camera with the dance move. It was moving with the speed of the music, with the movements,
yes.
And it was really a fantastic job the director has done. Thanks to the actress,
yeah.
And the producer also.
Oh no, thank you. And Michael really is that guy. He loves musicals. That's what he does. If you go and have a look at some of his work, even some of the amazing commercials he's done, they're quite revolutionary. I don't know whether you've ever heard, there was big flash mobs, which again I think you guys almost started here way before the rest of the world did. But Michael was famous for some of the biggest ones. He did, I don't know whether you know, Oprah Winfrey had a massive birthday party where there was 30,000 people in Chicago all flash mobbing, and that was Michael behind it. So, but he's just got a love of music and dance and choreography of shots. So the camera's as choreographed as the dancing in there. So
how you feel about Indian films as a foreign producers, actors for Indian music and Indian dance?
It's incredible. Like even last night, you go and what a show. It's like, if that was done in Australia, we just would not have that kind of pizzazz or musicality to it. It really is amazing. But you tell very diverse stories here. There's such a rich culture, and I was amazed at the lineage of filmmakers that were discussed last night. That was just quite. We don't, again in Australia, we don't honour our filmmakers quite the same way. We need to do more of what you do here. There's a lot we can learn from that.
We're also such a young country as well, so we
in future you may co-produce a film from Indian producers.
I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love
we hope to see you as a co-producer of Indian film. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Many congratulations again on The Better Man. So Paul used the word the musical genius. So when we have a movie that straddles so many genres, it's a satire of sorts, it's a musical, it's a semi-biographical movie, and of course you have a digital monkey at the center of it all. So in such a movie where the musical genius in question is playing himself, how challenging is it for the rest of the cast to sort of raise themselves to the idea of or maintaining their hold in that scenario, where it's not just a lead actor who's playing the titular role, but the person at the center of it. Does it make it different for the others in the cast?
I think as an actor, something that really gave me a lot of confidence going into it was that Michael Gracie is someone who's incredibly collaborative. Before I'd officially been offered the role, he was very generous with his plans of how he wanted to achieve this, and often as actors you don't get that sort of invitation to that conversation. So I felt everyone that came to set was very much on the same page. We all knew what film we were making. But Robbie, the monkey, is actually played by Jono Davis. He was in a motion capture suit. You might have seen them, the Weta suits, which is just incredibly technical and very impressive. And the second that I met Jono, I knew that he was the right person to play Robbie. And whenever I think of my Robbie, of when I'm working, I think of Jono and his beautiful face and how expressive he is and how much blood, sweat and tears he put into that. And that really comes down to the people that were brought onto this. The energy comes from up top, and Michael and his whole team, every single person, knew what they were walking into, and so we all came knowing what we had to achieve, and that just makes your job really easy. For me, information makes me do my job better because I'm informed. I know what you want or what you need, and I can try and bring that to the table. And so everyone was incredibly collaborative. Jono was such a great leader on set. He works incredibly hard, and I think that he brought the energy of Robbie that's needed. He's a very charismatic, he's a broken man, he's so charming and silly, and that's all in Jono. And he really brought that to the set and gave permission to everyone else to step up to his level. So it's just a real pleasure.
And then with that, the shoot began with Robbie coming out and performing real concerts. So he kind of blessed the production. He did the ending, we shot the ending first, and then we did some of the huge scale where we had 30,000 people, and you know, he brought all that and he was part of it. So it was all the voiceover is Robbie, the real Robbie. Singing is a combination, but mainly Robbie, and Jono could sing himself, and then all the beautiful performance of the monkey, that's Jono. And so it was very collaborative and very, as Rochelle said, Michael's methodical way of preparing and making movies lends itself to what was achieved.
Good morning. With all the technology that is available today, how easy or difficult it is to make a film with a digital character at the center? And do you expect to see more of these kind of characters going forward?
Yeah, it's very difficult because matching reality with a digital character is one of the hardest things. What was also hard about this film is that it was in a very real environment that was gritty. The cameras were loose. There was a lot of thick atmos, and it was Michael wanted a gritty, real world, and to sit this monkey in this very real world. So the bar on that is very, very high. And Weta, who's one of the most amazing visual effects companies, they did Avatar, Lord of the Rings, Planet of the Apes. They've done amazing work. They set up in Australia to actually do this movie, but it was very, very challenging doing a digital character when you're doing concerts. Like we had 54 cameras in the roof and 20 cameras in the concert. A crew of like 400 people to try to capture all of that while the concert's going on. So very challenging, a lot of that kind of work. And to your second part of the question, I think as filmmaking progresses, I think you're going to see more human interpretations of characters that are close to reality but slightly unreal in order to keep pushing the boundaries. But it will get easier, but right now it's a difficult process to make something to cross over the uncanny valley in animation where you don't question it, and that takes a lot of artistry, a lot of work, and hundreds, if not over 1,000 people were involved in the visual effects of this movie. So as years come, with AI and other advancements, that is going to get more automated, but it will still, to do it at that level is very challenging.
Thank you.
Paul, I had a question. Bohemian Rhapsody sort of set the benchmark by winning the Oscars and all. So when it comes to creating films like these musicals, where you're talking about a real person and his struggles with different addictions and all these ups and downs in his life, what were the challenges, that would, bring the audience back to the theatre to watch Robbie Williams?
Yeah, well, I think it's a great question. I think, audiences want an event film to go to the cinema. I think your family dramas and all sorts of other things, I think, are so good now that we can watch them on our screens at home, and the technology continuing to make that more easy. So I think a movie has to have something special going for it to become a cinema event, and that was what our hope was, is, oh my gosh, what we hope as audience talk about this movie and go, you know what, it sounds crazy, but you've just got to go see it. It is this journey of this amazing rock star told in a completely different way, because I know Michael was very passionate, and Robbie, that the musical biopic, it's all been done. A lot of it has been done, and we know that genre. So how do you try to put a different spin on it? And this was a spin that was absolutely truthful. When Michael first started interviewing Robbie, they spent like a year and a half just recording. Michael recorded Rob's just talking to him, and he would refer to himself constantly as, I'm the performing monkey. People got me up on stage like a performing monkey. So he himself had that psychology, so that was where the idea was born, and Michael went, oh my gosh, this is real, and it's a complete twist on that musical biopic. So hopefully, and I hope that audiences respond and they can enjoy the ride and be moved by a non-human character that is trying to become human. So I think that's another interesting idea. It starts out as a little monkey who feels alone and isolated, so hopefully that allows an audience to connect, and then you go on the ride with that character throughout the movie.
And even Robbie and Michael, they share the same weightage, on the posters. So I wanted to know, was there a little bit of, how much creative freedom did y'all have, when it is dealing with Robbie Williams?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Robbie gave Michael total freedom. He wanted him to interpret the film the way he wanted to. Warts and all, he didn't censor anything of it. You can see there's a lot of bad behaviour he has in the film. He wanted it to have that truth. He trusted Michael. He connected with Michael, and their relationship and trust was the anchor of the whole movie. That's what allowed the movie to really have a strong sense of centre that all of us fed off. It was, in producing something, you're hoping that the idea and the elements are solid, and then you build everything around that. And Michael and Robbie were the backbone of the film, and then all the other cast became the tree and the branches that came off that solid trunk relationship.
I'm looking forward to seeing it in the theatres.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully.
Do you think, is it too out there to work for audiences here? What do you think, how would it go here as a theatrical movie? No, I think it should be theatrical.
Yeah, Robbie has a fan following.
Yeah, I heard.
Huge
Yeah.
fan following. It should be a theatrical, I feel, as a person.
I agree.
It's already announced in December, US, I think.
Yeah, it's in
Yeah.
December. So yeah, we'd love to find the right
It's a big
partner.
theater experience.
It is a big theatre experience. So.
And India loves music. So.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to come and have a chat, we're open. Because India is actually one of the last places we haven't sold. The rest of the world is all being distributed. So yeah, so we're very open.
Rachel, I had a question for you. Did you have a chance to, interact with Nicole Appleton? Did you meet her?
I'm actually due to meet her in a couple of days. I was supposed to meet her this coming Monday, but I had a little trip to India that came up last minute, so I had to reschedule. She was very kind in letting me reschedule so I could come and promote the film to India. No, we connected about a month or so ago, just via message, and I really, for nearly 3 years now, have just wanted to express to her how much respect and appreciation I have for her. And it's an interesting thing playing a real person. I've never done that before, but it was very important to me to try and convey to her that I was coming at this from a place of respect and not trying to exploit her in any way. And I'm sure she knew that she's already been in touch with production and Michael and Simon and Oliver, so she could see what their intentions were, but I wanted her to hear it from me. So I did say to her that I have a lot of appreciation for her, and I hope I get to express that. I know she's coming to our London premiere, but it'll be nice that we can sit down and have a one-on-one, gal to gal, and me to be able to just nod my head at her and go, I don't know your whole story, but I just want you to know the small part that I've represented. I hope that she's happy with it, and I hope she's comfortable with how I've portrayed her. But really, it's more of just an expression of deep respect that I hope to convey.
This is a real life person,
Yes.
and there are challenges to portraying her on screen. So did you choose to toe the line of the script, or did you use your creative liberty to bring in additional elements to this character? How did you go about it?
I think in preparation, as I said, I'm based at the moment in London, and so my preparation was primarily done there. So I was away from Michael and Simon and Oliver, and so I really just tried to dive into as much information as possible. I was able to get my hands on Nicole and her sister Natalie's book. They wrote it in, I think it was 2002. It's called Together, and it was a biography of their life and career up until that point. And so that really gave me Nicole's inner monologue and how she felt at this time, and it covered that period, and that was really insightful to me, as well as watching the numerous videos and interviews, and there was a small documentary I found, and trying to just take in as much of her through osmosis, so that by the time I did arrive on set and in rehearsals, being a part of that collaborative environment, I could bring that information to the forefront. But from the get-go, it was made clear to me by Simon, Michael, and Oliver that they really wanted Nicole to feel like her own person. Often in biopics about male musicians, women are a mere footnote in their story, and they're just to support them. But they really wanted to make sure that Nicole had her own story, her own life, and her own dreams, which you can see in the film. She's very much living her own life, and they wanted her to have her own voice. And this film deals with a particularly traumatic part of her life, and they wanted to make sure that her voice wasn't silenced in that. So it felt like a very warm environment and very creatively collaborative. So I was able to bring my information and partner it with the information that had been given by Nicole, and I felt like then we had a nice middle ground to work with from an honest place, but also a creative place.
Yeah. Share one thoughts. When it comes to choreography and dancers, in anywhere part of the world, we have never heard for action scenes or stunts, there is stunts double. But when it comes to dance and choreography, we have never heard there is a dance double. Who does that? Whether they are trained or, basically they are dancers, or for the film they get trained. We always have a huge compliments who are perform dance, because there is no dance double. And
it's not the same in Western films. We often have doubles. You guys do that incredibly well. Like, that's what was so unique. Normally, we thought with Nicole we will probably have to have a dance double for certain shots, and then face replace them and things like that. We do that a lot with action and all sorts of things, digital doubles, and but no, that was absolutely authentic, the Indian way, I'll say.
So to end, from my side, one thing I need to share, even on Indian cinema, we had a huge influence of Mel Gibson's first Mad Max. For a long time, whenever the film used to think, at that time we used to think everything is made in US Hollywood. But later on, as evolved, we came to know it was an Australian movie. So Mad Max is one of the best action film which had huge influence on Indian filmmakers also.
That's right.
Yeah, that I wanted to share. Yeah, thank you.
That's great. Yeah, George Miller, the director of that, and Mel, who, I did Hacksaw Ridge with Mel, and he is an amazing filmmaker. I mean, that guy made Braveheart. Like, that's a pretty phenomenal film. But both of them were Australians, and they kind of grew up inspiring all of us with the kind of movies that we could make. So, and they're still going strong. Mel's making his own movies, acting in them. George Miller just made another Mad Max all these years on. So they're great filmmakers and good people too, nice people.
Any more questions?
Thank you for everyone's time.
I thank Paul and Rachel for their participation today. We look forward to more of your cinematic brilliance in the coming future and continued presence at IFFI. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Thanks
having
for
us.
having us.
Thank you.